Green Lantern number 25, written by Robert Venditti, art by Billy Tan. So this is post Lights Out, and obviously as that wrapped up, we had a couple of lanterns saying, hey, wait a minute, Green Lantern light and all light is a non-renewable resource, more or less, despite the fact it just got renewed. We will run out one day, and so we quit being Green Lanterns. And we pick up right there with Hal talking to these guys, being like, hey, what do you mean? You can't just quit like that. And he's just like, no. We're not quitting the Corps in terms of like protecting people. We still want to do that. We'll still protect our sectors. We're just not going to use our rings because that seems really irresponsible. And Hal goes through all the reasons why. It's just like, it took billions of years to run out before. This is not something you need to worry about. And he's like, yeah, that's when there was one Corps, the Green Lantern Corps, for like a very brief period of time. Now there are 7 Corps, and they all are running constantly. And Hal's like, okay, fair enough. But, like, come on, we were Green Lanterns. What about, we got to care about the universe here. And they basically say, you do understand that our whole thing is willpower. You're not going to be able to change our mind. And he's like, right, all right, fine, fair enough. You know what? Everybody, the Green Lantern Corps now has a new objective, a new thing that we're going to start persecuting. Anyone who uses the light irresponsibly, any ring wielders who are not good to use the light, we're going to shut them down. And Carol's standing there and she's like, I'm sorry, you're going to do what now? And he's just like, right, Carol, I didn't mean you. I meant someone else. And she's just like, oh yeah, no, sure. Look, here's the thing. It seems like you've got an idea that you haven't thought through at all. So I'm going to go out to the Star Sapphires. I'm going to tell them about your half-baked scheme here, and we're going to see how well that flies out. So she takes off the planet, and Bales and House is like, Jesus, women, am I right? So we see them all hanging out on Mogo around a campfire, and basically John puts forward like, hey, look, I get what you're saying, of we need to use the Green Lantern abilities to stop the light from deplenishing, but like, we will be using the light to stop other light people. Don't you think that sounds hypocritical? Don't you think that'll make people hate the Green Lanterns more? And he's just like, no, I get it, but we're not going after all of them. We're just going after the people who are bad who are using the light. Like, it'll just be like an extra charge that we put on top of everything else. And essentially Kilowog's agreeing with John. He's just like, no one's going to like us. And even within the Corps, it's going to be hard to sell this. And he's like, all right, fine. If we need to win, if we need to show this is going to work, let's just take care of one that everyone can agree with. That lady from the first couple issues, whatever her name was, that broke out of the science cell when she became a Star Sapphire. Let's go get her, because clearly she's evil. And Kilowog's like, okay, well, do you want me to send out the people who are in the sector that she's in? He's just like, no, you and me. We're going to do this the right way. So Hal and Kilowog take off to sector 0563, and there's this old-timey, like, Western saloon where these bradesmen, who are just people who are part of this woman's tribe, I'll get to her name eventually. They're all just having drinks, and they're just like, yeah, business was slow for a while there, but now we're really racking up the money. We're doing great. And Hal and Kilowog walk in saying, hey, great, you've just admitted to running a black market business. Why don't you give us the books, and that'll make things easier. So they start opening fire. The Green Lanterns use their constructs as shields and whatnot, and they tie up the 3 guys there, and they say, look, we don't care about your little racket business. Honestly, it is so small time, we couldn't care less. However, we do care about your boss, so tell us where she is. And they say, I'll never do it. By my long braids of hair that signal how many fights I've won, I will never surrender. And he's just like, okay. So he takes out a buzzsaw construct and starts cutting off this guy's braids. And he's just like, no, not my braids. So then the woman stands up outside. Her name is Nolange. There we go. Nolange shows up saying like, hey, you messing with my clan in there? Get out here, Green Lanterns. And just like, God, that was too easy. And they walk out. They start bickering with each other, saying like, oh yeah, it took you a while. Maybe you don't love your clan as much as we thought you did. And he's just like, all right, you know what? I'm going to bring you down to your knees. And she uses her love tether on Kilowog and says, I will show you visions of your closest loved ones dying. And Kilowog's like, oh, you don't know me, do you? I've had my planet destroyed twice before, and the second time, my woman and my little ones went with it. So you got nothing you can show me, but you did just give me a rope. So he pulls on the tether and then punches her in the face. At which point Kilowog's like, that's why you brought me along, isn't it? You knew that she'd try this and then I wouldn't be affected. And he's just like, I mean, it worked, didn't it? So they managed to shackle her up and say, all right, we've got all these charges on you, but the new one is you are unauthorized use of the emotional spectrum. So take that. And then all of a sudden Hal gets shot in the back, not damage-wise, but it's all the clan members there saying, hey, you're not going to lay a hand on her. So they start making more defensive shields, and then Hal's like, all right, screw the defensive stuff. Every once in a while, we're going to have to use an actual real big construct here. So he makes a giant bowling ball, rolls it down, knocks over all the clan members, and then starts fighting against Nolange again. And Nolange is basically like, hey, you say I'm unauthorized to do this. I am doing what is best for my core. Who are you to say or my clan, I should say. Who are you to say that that's wrong? And Kilowog makes a giant crab construct that manages to get a hold of Nolange. And they say like, haha, see, you're nothing because you fight by yourself. I'm here with Kilowog. We've learned teamwork and whatnot. You're not that great. And she's just like, fair enough. So then she erupts out with tethers all over the planet, possibly even the universe. Yeah, there's a few like other planets mentioned here. And then people from her clan all over the galaxy are just being brought to her at high speeds. And it says, where is it? Nolange, with great love, calls you to her side. And we see now she has her entire clan here surrounding just Kilowog and Hal. How will they get out of this one? So, all right, obviously the big thing here is the change in directive of the Lantern Corps of now nobody is allowed to use the light anymore, and it's just going to be about like trying to essentially wipe out all the other cores. Sounds like the long-term game plan here, which is interesting, I'll say. It sounds really bad. I mean, not in the way of it sounds like creatively bankrupt or anything. I think it's an interesting idea, but like it sounds like it is so primed to fail that you just know it already. You know that there's no way they're just going to get rid of all the other cores. Not when there's a book called Red Lanterns. So it's an idea. I think it's going to cause a lot of good stories to come out of it. I think there's going to be some real conflict here. It's definitely set Carol back against Hal again, which that's a choice, especially because they've been together since at least the beginning of the New 52. So yeah, I'm down with it. But it has the potential to go sideways real quick. So at least for this issue, it's okay. I just wish they defined it better as to what they mean by like unauthorized as compared to, because they even say that Carol says that straight up of like, when you say unauthorized, I have a feeling that means green users only. So yeah, all in all, I think this is probably I'll give it a 7. It's a low 7, but it's a 7. And that is mainly on, I like the ideas that it brings up, but it could really use some refinement. It feels like they're just kind of playing fast and loose for it to now. I want to know what the actual rules are here for unauthorized use of the emotional spectrum. So once we get that, the scores will go up.